No, I'm fine anyway. I definitely probably should have learned a few things about this first, but you know, when you're desperate, and I guess I'm not really desperate. I'm just, life is hard. And as a good friend of mine would say, I'm just being lazy. So I listened to a podcast, and then I listened to the book because the podcast, I guess it was promoting it, and it's like live streaming, start live streaming. So I did this a long time ago, and I was just gonna do it with mute on and then just do my makeup like I do for work every day. But I needed to get this set up, so that's what I'm doing now. I got my rent paid. Um, it just, you know, after 17 years of being married, and then your husband, while you're in treatment, is like, hey, you don't want to be married anymore. You kind of, I don't know, your whole life falls apart. And for the first time ever in my life, I was on my own. And I was like super grateful that it did happen while I was in treatment, you know? It was the best place that it could happen. But so much just happens, so many things, has happened since, I gotten sober. I just celebrated 2 years last Thursday, so that's awesome. Been doing a lot of therapy on BetterHelp. I love BetterHelp. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. I'll probably find out. I've been doing that since October because I've had a bad few relationships too that I let control me, and to like the point where my nervous system failed. I couldn't pick up my right foot. Like how how does that work? Um, but I've been better since I started therapy. Unfortunately, though, trying to figure out how to live in Nebraska alone, and doing it alone is crazy, for somebody that's never been alone in her whole life. I did just sign a new lease, so I've been here for 15 months almost. But and I don't make very much as a stylist. I didn't make really good money before COVID happened. That was my job. That was my fault. Anyways, they don't really tell you what life is like after sobriety. Like, you don't know what to expect. You just think that everything is going to be great and perfect. It was pretty lonely, actually. I started writing about uh, about it. I should write a book. I should do this. I should do that. Oh, I don't know who I am. Um, I still don't know who the hell I am. I'm 40 years old and alone. My oldest daughter, she's in Miami. She's cool. She's great. She's smart. She's smarter than me. So proud of her. And my youngest one is still in high school. I wasn't going to make her leave her hometown, she's always lived there. And, my last 6 weeks of school, I spent in a totally different town. I was going to graduate with like 400 people. And then my dad got this job as a recruiter in a small ass town, country, bumpkin. And so I spent the last 6 weeks with people I barely knew. I acclimated that the right word? I don't know. I'm very easily adaptable to my surroundings. So I, made friends, graduated high school. Anyways, to get back to the point where I was going with the years in marriage, 17 years sobriety. Oh, yeah. So my husband leaves me. Then I find out he's having an affair with a few. And then the third day, my daughter's dog dies in front of her. It was only a 2.5-year-old Silver Lab. It's like her best friend, and her sister just went back to college in Florida, and her mom's trying to get healthy finally, and her dog dies, her best friend in the whole wide world, and then there's some mental health issues that goes on that Nebraska, hates to deal with, and they'd rather, throw people in jail than take care of them. Anyways, that's a story for another day. I'm wild. No, I'm not. I was. Um, it's pretty fucking lonely being sober, though, dude. Uh, I live in this 716 square foot apartment. Uh, for 6 weeks that I lived here, I had to sleep in my living room because at day 10, this place got 4 inches of rain in like 15 minutes. And so my apartment flooded because the gutter got kicked off and everything flowed into my apartment. Versus 6 weeks, I lived in my freaking living room, so even smaller than 716 square foot. And that was a crappy thing, but it was a universe thing. So I had to call in sick to work that day, obviously, because all of my stuff was going to be ruined if I didn't get it out and then had to deal with all that. But that same day, that city that I worked at got 2-inch hail, and like it shattered people's vehicles and windshields. So my windshield somehow got busted while I was in treatment. I don't even want to go there, but it did, and it was like the universe and flood the apartment. She can get her stuff out. The apartment has to deal with that, but I could not afford at that moment to pay for a brand new windshield moving into this apartment. Like, the universe got me to this apartment. That's the only thing that was a constant workout for me. Like, when I put the deposit down, I had the perfect amount of money to get that deposit down. And to be able to survive, I had just gotten paid, and I knew I was going to have to survive on $100 for 2 weeks. And I was driving 2 hours a day for work, because they paid me $5 more an hour because Nebraska's, especially small town, you don't get paid all that great. Which is shitty because it costs $25,000 to go to cosmetology school, but let's pay us less than, and it doesn't matter because there's a job for everybody. So I'm not going to even say it. I'm not a judgy person, but the cosmetologist should get paid better. Tips aren't always guaranteed. Tips are based on, the other human. I mean, it comes down to, if you guys are satisfied with our work, but that's my job, and I take pride in my job. Acts of service and touch, I could do that every day. I get paid to do it. I love making other people feel better about themselves. And I have strong hands, so I'm really good at a scalp massage, Anyways, I'm drifting like I usually do. I'm just going. Anyways, yeah, sobriety is lonely. I got back and I did all the stuff I was going to do, not drink. I do therapy, and nobody else wanted to change, which you can't make anybody else do anything, you're only in control of yourself. So, but you kind of, when you're drinking for as long as I did and acting or who I was, for as long as I did, nobody knows who the hell you are, including yourself, So I've been on this journey for 2 years trying to figure out who I am and what I want. And all I know is that I got 2 years sober. Well, I still have my apartment, figured out the rent shit. Like, I have everything I need. So, I have what I need, and mostly what I want. It's just very quiet. Um, I miss my family. Like, when nobody knows who you are anymore and you don't know who you are, it's kind of hard for people to be around you, the people that used to know you. And I can't blame anybody. Um, I I don't know that I've really tried that much without being as selfish as I have, because I've had to be selfish about sobriety, um, which sucks. But you have to be selfish with sobriety and self care, because you ain't gonna stay sober, bro. I I know there's nobody watching this, which is fine. Um, it's good to be able to talk to somebody, even if it's myself, and if it helps somebody. So I'm a stylist. I love cutting hair. I'm in love with sobriety. I love meditation. I love the present moment. Like, what time is it? The time is now. Um, in this moment, there's no problems around me. I'm just sitting here talking to myself. Um, I have my air conditioner going. My lights are on. My internet's working, obviously. There's food in my fridge. Uh, I, I got, my music or my podcasts I can listen to. I'm really funny. I want to do some of that stuff. I've gone to Kill Tony shows a few times, twice in Nashville, because the second day I signed up for it. Um, Doing trips alone as a woman is a little difficult too. I went to Austin for Kill Tony, their special. I went to their New Year's Eve special. I had to leave early. It's a whole funny story, and the whole thing was crazy because I'd never gone on a trip by myself out of state, and then, ooh, that one can be for another day too, if people want, or if anybody is ever gonna watch this. Nashville was fun. I'll go to Nashville again, but to go to Nashville, because the entire time I was just worried about Kill Tony, and I spent so much money. I went to New York for 4th of July. That was fun. You guys are crazy in New York. I don't know how you guys live there. Everything is so fast but so slow. Um, and there's just so many people. I loved the energy though. The Williamsburg Bridge is a long freaking walk. Uh, I don't know. Everything was beautiful. I love New York. I love the energy. I love the people. Um, I'll probably end up in San Diego soon. That one won't be a long trip. I have a friend there, a great friend that I love very much. And I don't know. Ask questions if there's anybody that ever looks at this. I'll be live streaming for sure makeup, because I love makeup. This is the end of the day makeup. This is a after a bath, after a whole day of work. It's back to school time, so we're very busy in the salon. Also, just because we're very busy in the salon for school does not mean that we're getting paid very well. Like, tips terrible, and I know I do a good job. Some of these kids are gonna have the best haircuts out of the whole class, because I'm a little OCD. Anyways, this is what, 15 minutes long. I don't know. Hopefully somebody watches it. Hopefully somebody gets some help out of it. I don't know. But I'll figure it out. I figured out my rent problem. Man, and these fees for freaking paying your rent is just a joke. I paid 2 different fees. One was for like $3, right? And I paid $600 out of my account for this one, and then the other one was $13, but I only paid $425. It's a crock of crap. Like, There's a reason why people are broke. Anyway, peace.